Today we're honing in on some very common mistakes people make when executing a low kick. If you sort these out, you're gonna land so much more frequently to the thigh when you spar. Common mistake number one is people thinking they need to elevate on the round kick the same way that they do when they throw their body. Right? When I go to the body, I want to elevate through the heel because my kick is coming upwards and that increases the power. But when I'm kicking downwards, I want to drop my foot flat into the floor. I either pivot and drop my heel, or I jump and land. Dropping your weight downwards into the floor as your low kick lands is only going to intensify the impact. But if I'm trying to kick down or across but elevating, you can see how this just doesn't look like it works, as opposed to dropping into the kick. The next common mistake is not understanding that very often when we low kick, we're also within punch range. So we need to have a way to deal with the punches that could be executed as we throw our low kick. There are two viable options. Number one, I get my head off the center line. As I throw my kick and I turn my body, I very simply drop my head just a tiny bit to the side. This one in itself is just going to get my head out of that straight punch zone and allow me to execute while still swinging my arm down low. The other option is to make sure my hand does not swing down but swings across and stops in between my opponent and I, so any shots that are thrown are just going to go off the glove or off the elbow. It would look something like this. And if I want, sometimes I can even actually let my hand connect out. We can still generate loads of power doing that. Now, this next mistake is something that was brought to my attention recently when I was doing a Zoom session, and somebody said, yeah, I'm struggling with my low kicks because you have to, this was a question, I have to land with my shin, right? They're like, I have to land with that shin, therefore I feel like I'm very jammed. And I went, no. Who told you you have to land a low kick with your shin? That's like saying when I throw a head kick, I have to land with my shin or I have to land with my foot. No, this is all a viable option. Only thing you have to understand is if you land with your foot and they check with their knee or something, yeah, that's gonna hurt you. But that's the case whenever you throw a kick, right? You have to be ready to go, oh, they're gonna check it, ease back on the power. Now, if I'm kicking with my shin, I'm in this very tight range. But as I start to back up and land with my foot, very often I can be at a distance where they're not going to be able to reach me with much power. And you can see that from here, I land with my shin. From here, where I can't reach, I can land with my foot. So having the ability to land from different distances as you low kick is paramount to success. Now, not using the low kick as a counter is going to hinder you so much. All I have to do to counter a low kick is remove a whole bunch of technique, right? When we're taught to low kick, we go, okay, we have to pivot. We have to get our head off the center line. We have to do everything that I've been talking about today. But using the low kick as a counter, somebody steps in and they blast off some shots and I take them, I don't worry about head movement now. I just keep my hands high, I don't pivot, and I just fire back. Take some shots, fire back. That is a way that we can effectively break the rules, break proper technique, but still be very successful with this shot. The last very common mistake that I see time and time again is people trying to throw a low kick with no setup as the aggressor and feeling like, oh, every time I go to do it, this person just backs up. And I'm constantly throwing with no setup and I'm missing. Two viable options to make this low kick land easier. All right, number one, I set it up. I throw some hands first. That's always a great way to close the distance safely and then follow up with the low kick. But if you don't like that and you're going, yeah, I'm really good at just throwing the low kick with no setup. Well, if you're not using it as a counter, then you need to close distance yourself. So it's going to be that jump where you go from your back foot to your front foot, you close distance on a slight angle, and as you push forward, I'm over embellishing right now obviously, but as you push forward, your back leg now throws the kick. So I can be at this range where they think they're safe, and then I just spring myself forward. They're going, okay, I'm safe. I give them something to think about, and I blast that low kick straight in on them. So if you're able to take some of the adjustments I showed you today and apply them to your low kick game, I think you're gonna have more success with this weapon, which is just so very brutal.